Hey everyone, I'm John Poisson. I'm the founder and CEO of TinyPictures, and we're here in front of TinyPictures headquarters in San Francisco. We make a service called Radar.net, a leading mobile social media service. Come inside, I'll give you a tour. Just gotta find my key. So this is actually a former photo studio, live, work loft. So we've been in here since about June. We felt the space was kind of fitting for what we do. So we make a service called Radar, which is for real-time sharing of camera phone pictures and videos with your friends. So feels a little bit like a photo sharing service, but much more focused on that real-time stream of pictures and videos, and almost as importantly, conversation about what you and your friends are doing right now. So the service works on any mobile phone in the world, but our real specialty is in that mobile application experience for Windows Mobile, for Java, for BlackBerry, for Sidekick, and most recently for iPhone. This is our little collection of historic cameras. We really sort of, we think of ourselves as extending this notion of the very, very first consumer cameras, the Brownie from Kodak and some European versions as well, that really made photography personal and portable and really focused on consumers, and really gave birth to what we know of today as the snapshot. And then the evolution of course, the Polaroid camera, which suddenly took that notion of snapshots and made them instantly shareable, at least from person to person, and really gave us that whole ritual of taking a picture and sharing it in the moment. Really what we do is taking that notion and extending that across space and time, if you will, and allowing you to share those things instantly as you could with just about with any camera phone, but really focusing on the mobile browsing and commenting experience, the closing of the loop, the sharing of those moments, but also the conversation that happens around them in real time. So as I said, it used to be a photography studio, and if you'll notice up at the top, all of these skylights. I'll show you after. There's a button. Let's come around here. We only do this when we have visitors, unfortunately, but we have a kind of blackout mode. So the whole room goes dark. And we keep saying we're going to have a movie night, but we never actually have had a chance to do that yet. So this is where I sit. So this table over here is the marketing team responsible for obviously marketing the product, but really focusing on building the community and engendering the kind of community aspects of the service. This is the product team here, focused on design and development of not only the front end product and all of the many mobile platforms that we support, our integration points with Flickr and Twitter and Facebook, but also the core services team that's responsible for the whole server infrastructure and APIs and all that kind of stuff, keeping it running 24/7, fast and scalable and smooth.
I see lots of iPhones around here.
Yeah, there's a lot of iPhones here. iPhone has become, we launched the iPhone app maybe a few months ago, and it very quickly, almost instantly, became our fastest growing platform, both in terms of number of users, but also in terms of the engagement among users. We launched the product probably 2 years ago now, with a focus on building the service for any phone in the world, literally any web-enabled phone in the world, and we still support all of those platforms. And then we built on a whole series of kind of premier mobile application experiences that gave us much more interactivity, and we kind of did the hard work in the early days of building something for Java and then Windows Mobile and BlackBerry, and kind of pushing those platforms to the point where we could have a premier experience even on the free device that you got from your carrier, a couple of years ago, and then from there, building on top of that structure and that architecture and that experience, building into the latest devices from BlackBerry and iPhone, of course, and of course Android coming soon from Radar. Yeah, so I can guarantee you on Radar right now, from my colleagues and friends here, there's probably 20 pictures of me standing here with this provocative microphone, talking to you, and then there's all kinds of insulting chatter back and forth about what we're doing. I'll give you a little demo in a second. I'm going to introduce you to these two guys. So George and Robert are respectively our directors of engineering and application development. So
George and Robert.
Yeah, and so these guys are responsible for the development of the Radar product, and Joshua and Kevin here are responsible for the design of all the different platforms that we work with. Conlon is our superhero mobile developer who handles. Literally, if I told you how many platforms we support and how many that this guy's responsible for, you would you'd be surprised as we are. Lennon and Christoph are responsible for making sure everything's running smoothly and safe. They're our quality assurance team. Ujwal is responsible for application development and server-side development. And I'll introduce you to the marketing team now that they're back in place. So Morgan Sherwood is our community support manager. She manages the community and the support process, make sure everyone's behaving and make sure everybody has what they need in the service. She's kind of the voice of our community team. And then there's Mia and Skylar. Skylar actually started out as part of our ambassador program. We had a college ambassador program where college students around the country were engaging with Radar and sharing what the product was with their friends in the early days, really building up the brand. And Skylar and Mia together are our community support managers.
We're basically the Ashton of Radar, so you guys might have seen us around quite a bit. Yeah.
I guess Ashton and Demi. And then Ian Jeffrey here is our VP of marketing and an old friend of mine from a decade ago in Montreal. So Ian used to work for an agency called Cassette up in Montreal, and I heavily recruited him to come down here and help us out. So he's been with us forever. And then, of course, Christine Valdez, who makes everything run here.
Hi. I keep John in check.
So there's one more team member that I wanted to show you that lives in the garage. His name is Ray, also part of the marketing team. There you go. So this is one of the earliest members of our team, actually. He's a 1965 Ford Econoline that Ian brought on board, that we found from, quite honestly, from a crazy hippie in Berkeley. He was in really tough shape, so we fixed him up, turned him into the kind of Radar promotional van, and christened him Ray. And I'll just give you a little look inside. But as I mentioned, we have this ambassador program where college students are just out there kind of spreading the word about Radar on college campuses, which is a really important early segment for us. And it's our service was addressing a market that knew very little about mobile comparatively, especially in the early days. It's changing more and more these days, especially with help from the iPhone. But we really wanted to get out kind of a grassroots approach and just explain to people that wasn't just about taking photographs or taking snapshots and sharing them later, like we discussed with Flickr and Facebook, but really a new kind of use case. So we recruited this team of people to help us with that. And Ray's been a critical part of that. We drive around to college campuses and events and just kind of just not a hard sell, not sign up campaigns, but really just getting people to understand what we're about, what the product's about, what the style of the community of Radar is all about, and what people can do with it. So it's really about that kind of face-to-face outreach, explaining to people and helping them get set up by taking their phone and showing them how dead simple it all is. So Ray's a lifelong member of the team, and we're happy to have him sitting here with us.
When are you deploying Ray?
I don't know Ray's schedule, actually, but I think with summertime coming, he's going to be quite busy. We tend to do a lot of street festivals and that kind of stuff here in the city, and really just when the mood is. But as you can imagine, just going down the street, he gets a ton of brand recognition. The brand's plastered on the side, and he's kind of like the Scooby-Doo mobile. But we love him to death, even when he doesn't start. Good boy. So there you go.